What is going on, YouTube family? I'm Mike. Welcome back to the Road to Wellness. I finished my salad. I'm feeling good. I'm ready to dive into this thing with you guys. As promised, today's video is about insulin resistance, the benefits of intermittent fasting, and how we can use intermittent fasting and simple changes in our diet to reverse insulin resistance and pre-diabetes. In 2010, the CDC estimated that an alarming 9% of Americans have type 2 diabetes, and information from 05 to 08 revealed that an alarming 33% of Americans had pre-diabetes or insulin resistance. That was back in 05 and 08, so I can only imagine what it is 10 years later. Insulin resistance is a condition where your cells become desensitized to insulin. Insulin is the gateway for nutrients to get into your cell, and when it's chronically elevated, which can be for any number of reasons, your cells develop an insensitivity, which causes your pancreas to produce more insulin to try to get those nutrients where they need to go in your cells. Now, this can be caused for any number of reasons, including high levels of stress, smoking, and just general grazing all day. As Americans, we tend to eat 5 to 6 meals a day, sometimes even up to 8, depending on what your personal trainer is asking you to do. Now that we know what insulin resistance is, let's talk about insulin a little bit more. Insulin is the gateway in which the nutrients go into the cell. Let's say you're waiting on a package from Amazon. You hear a knock at the door, you answer it, and the mailman's there and he hands you your package. Alright, cool. You go inside, you start opening it up. All of a sudden you hear another knock at the door. So you go and open it up. It's the mailman again. Says, hey, here's another package. You're like, okay. So you go back in and you start opening these packages. And then all of a sudden you hear another knock. This time you ignore it because you're tired of going and opening the door for the mailman. Well, instead of going away, he goes and gets another mailman and both of them start knocking. This is kind of how insulin resistance works in the body. When your insulin is chronically elevated, your cells start to become insensitive, so then your pancreas goes into overdrive trying to produce more insulin to get nutrients into your cell. As your pancreas goes into overdrive, the beta cells in your pancreas start dying. Now, as long as your pancreas can keep up with the demands of insulin for your cells, you're fine. But if enough of those beta cells die, bam, type 2 diabetes. Now, when there's an excess of insulin in your body, it does a multitude of negative things. High levels of insulin can block your other hormones, and furthermore, when there's lots of insulin present in your blood and not enough glucose, it causes your blood sugars to go down, which makes you really hungry, lethargic, hangry, which is where that term comes from. It also reduces your ability to produce the hormone leptin. Leptin is what makes your brain understand that the cells have the nutrients that they need and you don't need to produce insulin anymore. Furthermore, as your insulin levels remain elevated and you start accumulating fat in your adipose tissue, once those adipose tissue sites fill up, that fat's got to have somewhere to go. So that's when you start accumulating visceral fat. Visceral fat is when fat starts accumulating on your organs. That is as bad as it sounds. Now let's talk about some of the signs, symptoms, and causes of insulin resistance. Insulin resistance can be caused by stress, your sleeping habits, diet, and smoking. Some of the signs and symptoms of insulin resistance include hypoglycemia, which is irregular blood sugar levels, insatiability, which is your inability to feel full for long periods of time, increase in adipose tissue, which is the fat that surrounds your body, increase in visceral fat, which is the fat that's attached to your organs, carb cravings, where nothing but starchy carbs will satiate you. It can also result in lethargy, acne, brain fog, gout, acid reflux, bloating, because elevated insulin levels will cause you to retain sodium and high blood pressure. Alright, so now that we've established that we're all going to die because we're all insulin resistant, just kidding, but seriously, let's go over how we can reverse this with intermittent fasting. I know a lot of people have been talking about intermittent fasting. Some people dismiss it as a fad, but there are proven health benefits to intermittent fasting backed by tons of medical research, which I'll post the links for in the description of this video. Some of the benefits of intermittent fasting include better blood glucose levels, boosts in HGH, which is the human growth hormone. This is the hormone responsible for muscle growth and recovery, especially when you're working out. You want a lot of HGH. More benefits include lower insulin baselines, which is better for your body, increased insulin sensitivity when you do eat, which means you're going to stay satiated because your cells are going to actually get those nutrients that they require. Autophagy is one of the huge benefits of intermittent fasting, and it is touted to be the fountain of youth among researchers. Autophagy is the cell's ability to eat the old, aging parts of the cell and make way for new, better cells. You can also have a clearer mind. You also give your digestive system a little bit of time to rehabilitate itself. Digesting food takes a lot of effort from your digestive system. When you give it a break, it's able to heal like it's supposed to. Some other profound benefits of intermittent fasting include reductions in C-reactive protein levels. Now this is huge. C-reactive protein levels are important because this is the biomarker that researchers use to gauge chronic diseases. Intermittent fasting also stimulates the release of neurotrophic factors. This protects your brain and helps your brain cells to regenerate. Intermittent fasting also has profound benefits in increasing your parasympathetic tone. It can also help you to become more fat adapted, where your body becomes used to burning fat for fuel instead of carbs all the time. It has also been known to be therapeutic and help cancer patients and help ward off cancer. Another great benefit is the release of beta-hydroxybutyrate. We'll go into that more later. And also, since you're not eating 6 times a day, you get to save a lot of money. So now we know that insulin resistance is a cause of a lot of health issues. Insulin resistance leads to type 2 diabetes. We can reverse this with intermittent fasting. The other way we can help control this is by making sure that our first meal of the day is low carb and high fat. The reason for this is because first thing when you break your fast in the morning, breakfast, you're a little bit insulin sensitive. So if you start the day by spiking your insulin with starchy carbs, you're gonna feel like you need to eat all day. But if you have a soft spike in that insulin, you can control how you feel throughout the rest of the day. So let's watch those carb spikes, and let's also be cognizant of binge eating on intermittent fasting. Some people can't handle the fasting, so as soon as it's time to eat, they want to stuff down all the food that they can. And I understand, I've been there, but you need to be very cognizant so that you don't ruin all that hard work of intermittent fasting. I want to thank you for watching, and I want to implore you to share this video with anyone that you know that may be dealing with these symptoms and signs of insulin resistance and pre-diabetes. Another interesting fact you should keep in mind is you do not have to be overweight to be insulin resistant. Keep that in mind. So if you're exhibiting these symptoms, then you may need to look at doing some intermittent fasting and changing your diet. Please like and subscribe this video. Hit me up on Twitter, RD2Wellness. I'll be back shortly with more videos on how you can accelerate your fat loss and gain control of your health. Now I gotta control my health and get to sleep because I gotta work in the morning. But it was nice talking with you guys. Please share this video and I'll see you next time.